What if you could get a snapshot of our entire world just by looking at one single day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're zeroing in on January 11th, 2026, a day where, let me tell you, global tensions were simmering, economies were shifting right under our feet, and the future? Yeah, it showed up in some pretty wild ways. Turns out, this one 24-hour period says a lot, and I mean a lot. It reveals some powerful and sometimes totally conflicting truths about where we're all headed. So let's start with the global stage, where the game of power is being played for some seriously high stakes. All right, first up, the geopolitical chessboard. And on this particular day, the pieces were making some very, very aggressive moves. I mean, just look at these headlines from January 11th. It's like a global pressure cooker. You've got a new missile landing dangerously close to NATO's border. A tanker gets seized in this economic shadow war that's going on. The White House issues a pretty startling new directive. And all the while, Europe is asking itself this nervous question, hey, can we even defend ourselves anymore? The biggest, most alarming headline of the day definitely came out of Ukraine. Russia launched a new ballistic missile, the Oharshnik, and it struck the Lviv region. Now, this wasn't just some random target. Lviv is practically on the EU's doorstep. This was a message, and it was a message sent at hypersonic speed, designed to make the West very nervous. So what exactly is this Oreshnik missile? Well, think of it as a weapon that just changes the rules of the game. It's a medium-range ballistic missile that supposedly travels at over 13,000 kilometers per hour. To put that in perspective, that's fast enough to cross the Atlantic in about 30 minutes. And yeah, it can carry both conventional and nuclear warheads. Having that so close to NATO, that is a terrifying escalation. Meanwhile, the conflict wasn't just being fought with missiles. Out on the high seas, a whole different economic war was raging. The U.S. seized a tanker called the Olena, which was part of Russia's so-called Shadow Fleet. That's this whole network of unregistered ships they use to secretly move oil and get around international sanctions. So every time a ship like this gets seized, it's a direct hit to the funding for Russia's war machine. And back in Washington, the rhetoric was just as heated. In a Fox News interview, President Trump was asked about the massive protests happening in Iran. His response to the regime was, well, blunt and crystal clear. This isn't just tough talk, you guys. It's a signal that the U.S. is prepared to move from sanctions to something a lot more direct. But honestly, the most surreal news of the day had to be reports that President Trump ordered the Pentagon to draft invasion plans for Greenland. Yes, you heard me right, Greenland. Apparently, the reason was to block Russia and China from getting a foothold in the resource-rich Arctic. It's a move that sounds like it's ripped straight out of a political thriller, but on this day, it was a real and pretty stunning directive. Okay, so all these big geopolitical moves, they don't just happen in a vacuum, right? They create these ripples that eventually reach all of us, right in the wallet. So let's shift gears from the war room to the kitchen table and see what kind of economic pressures were shaping daily life back in 2026. On January 11th, people in Russia were still trying to get their heads around a whole bunch of new financial laws that had just kicked in at the start of the year. And these changes, they touched everything, from taxes and wages to mortgages and even utility bills. First up, a tax hike that hits, well, pretty much everyone. The value-added tax, or VAT, it's kind of like a national sales tax, it jumped from 20% to 22%. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but that little 2% increase means almost everything you buy, from your phone to your clothes, just got a little bit more expensive. But at the same time, the federal minimum monthly wage, known as MROT, got a boost. It was raised to 27,093 rubles. And this is a really key number because it doesn't just set the floor for salaries, it's also used to calculate all sorts of social benefits like sick leave and maternity pay. And here's where things get kind of complicated with this mix of give and take. For example, the government's making it tougher to get a family mortgage. Now it's only for families with kids under 6. But then, on the other hand, they're offering this brand new tax rebate for families with 2 or more kids. It's a classic case of policy creating winners and losers, and families are just left trying to figure out this complex new financial landscape. All this economic uncertainty really just boiled down to one critical number, the exchange rate. And on January 11th, nobody could agree on where the heck it was going. Best case scenario, the ruble gets stronger. But the worst case, all this geopolitical chaos sends it tumbling past 100 to the dollar, which should make imports way, way more expensive for everyone.
Okay, get ready for some serious whiplash. Because while one part of the world was dealing with missiles and tax laws, thousands of people were in Las Vegas at the CES Tech Expo, getting a glimpse of a radically different and, honestly, much more optimistic future.
Kicking things off, we've got a device that just completely bends the rules of what a phone can even be. Samsung officially showed off its Galaxy Z Trifold. Get this, it folds in 2 places, transforming from what looks like a normal smartphone into a full 10-inch tablet. I mean, that is a huge leap forward for trying to get real work done on a mobile device.
And hey, if you thought robot vacuums had kinda hit their peak, think again. Roborock was showing off the Saros rover. And this thing isn't just a vacuum. It's a total game changer for mobility. It uses these articulated wheel legs to balance, navigate uneven floors, and yes, it can even climb up and down stairs. Pretty wild. The innovation was just relentless. We saw a Lenovo concept laptop with a screen that literally rolls out, expanding from 16 to 24 inches. There was an LG gaming monitor with an insane 720 Hz refresh rate that is smoother than your eye can even perceive. We saw AI glasses from XGMII that were featherlight, and even Razer headphones with built-in cameras to give you AI-powered info about what you're looking at in real time.
You know, this quote from a review of the event really just nails it. The big trend at CES 2026 wasn't about one single blockbuster invention. It was about packing powerful AI and super flexible hardware into smaller, smarter devices that just blend seamlessly into our lives.
So here we are, right back where we started. A single day holding 2 totally different visions of the future. One filled with conflict and economic hardship, and another one filled with incredible technological progress. The question that this day really leaves us with is a big one. Which one of these futures is going to win?